All right, I'll just jump right in. This is my first time doing this topic in New York. So actually, this presentation I'm trying to do as a taster for you to see what aspects are you interested in. Because now you can see the topic is actually quite big, from Hong Kong to Greater Bay Area and to Belt and Road. And actually each of these topics can last for an hour. So please, I'll be going quite quickly because I see that the timekeeping is actually very on the spot. So I'll try to cover as much as possible, then we can talk a bit more during the break. And the presentation is jumping already. All right. Now, on the tax, Hong Kong government, of course, we are an open economy, so we try to keep the business in Hong Kong. You are there to make money. We hope that you're keeping the money and reinvesting on the money. That is why you can see back then there was this Forbes Misery Index, which is on comparing different economies' tax. What it did was just to combine and adding up all the tax rates on different items. It doesn't give you a very accurate amount of tax that you have to pay, but it gives you the philosophy of the government. Now, on that index, USA is doing quite well, high but not that high. The highest one was actually France and then China. Now, Hong Kong, we ranked from the bottom, second last. It means we were the second lowest in terms of the tax. The main purpose, of course, is to let you to reinvest the tax profits into the business. Now, we have been quite careful on that, and actually we do not give out a lot of tax breaks, but actually recently we also have these tax incentives on aircraft leasing. Some of you here, you may be doing ship leasing and also aircraft leasing. So if you're in that, actually, we can have a chat after the presentation. The ranking for foreign direct investment, what we put it is that this is how business people vote for different economies using your own money. Now, USA ranked #1 last year, and then UK. China third, Hong Kong actually as a small city, we ranked #4. So actually we've been attracting a lot of investments coming into Hong Kong. Of course, they do not stay in Hong Kong forever. Actually, the main thing they do is actually stage in Hong Kong and then go out further into Asia, or if the investment is from mainland China, then actually they go out through Hong Kong. One point over here, Singapore, actually a lot of people compare Singapore with Hong Kong. We are both very similar in terms of the economy structure. We are a small open economy. But over here, actually you can see our foreign direct investment attraction, it was about 70% higher than Singapore. Now, ship registry, we are actually #4 now. For the Ship Owners Association, we represent about 10% of the total world's tonnage. Greater Bay Area, I would like to spend a little bit more time on this. Now, New York itself also over here is a Bay Area, so later on there will be a comparison on different Bay Areas. Population-wise, the Bay Area is about 68 million people. If you put it in the context of another country, that is the size of UK or Italy. Now, for the land area is 56,000 kilometers. That, if you compare it to another country, that could be the size of Ireland. And then the GDP, we did about 1.3 trillion US dollars last year. Put it in context, that would be the size of Netherlands or Indonesia. So actually the Greater Bay Area itself is the size, in terms of economy, the size of a country. This is a comparison of those different places. Now, for the Greater Bay Area in our area, actually we have about 11 cities, 9 mainland Chinese cities and 2 what we call SAR, which is Macau and Hong Kong. If you look at the comparison over here, you could see land size-wise, actually we are doubling the size of Tokyo Bay Area, about 3 times of Greater New York. However, if you look at the GDP per capita, now we are only about 20,000 US dollars. Whereas, for example, New York over here, 69,000, San Francisco, 99,000. So you can see there are a lot of things that we can go from there. Now, we, as of now, actually have this framework agreement signed among these 11 cities. What we are trying to do is to increase the service offering, because right now, if, say, Hong Kong by ourselves, we are great in financial services, we're great in maritime industries, but then we've got no land. We've got only about 1,000 kilometers square, that's it. However, there are plenty of lands across the border, and also a lot of fantastic companies. For example, Shenzhen, they are focusing a lot in the innovation and technology. So the top-notch IT companies, for example, Tencent is headquartered in Shenzhen. Hardware company Huawei is also in Shenzhen. And just now, the gentleman from DMV also mentioned about the drone. Actually, one of the biggest drone companies is also in Shenzhen. And of course, there are other, for example, shipbuilding industries and also industrial manufacturing industries. So overall, we are trying to improve the service offering of the Greater Bay Area. So when you are coming to Hong Kong, actually, you are having different supports. Now, this is the infrastructure projects. Over here, now this is the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge. With that is about 50 kilometers long. So it's quite long, and it's partially tunnel and partially bridge, linking with Macau and also Zhuhai. Because all along, we've got a lot of connections over here. However, it is quite saturated already. And also, the potential is actually higher on the other side of the river mouth. So this bridge will be able to link that up and also shift the center of gravity from predominantly here to also the western side. Now, of course, we are also building the high-speed rail link. It is only 26 kilometers long because it's only the Hong Kong bit I'm talking about over here. And then it will be connected into the high-speed rail link network inside of mainland China. It is actually very expensive. For these 26 kilometers, we are paying about 10 billion US dollars for this project. So the Hong Kong government is very serious about this. The reason being, a lot of travelers coming into Hong Kong, including you business people, you do not stop over at Hong Kong. You try to also cover the rest of Asia and also China. Now, with this access to the mainland high-speed rail link, the network, actually you will be accessing to about 22,000 kilometers long of high-speed rail link. Then actually you can go to the rest of China very efficiently. For example, to Beijing is about only 9 hours. It means you can arrive in Hong Kong, do your own business, and then jump onto the train to Beijing. Then you can actually spend the night over there and waking up in the morning in Beijing and start your work. So the purpose is mainly to improve the connectivity from Hong Kong, Greater Bay Area, and rest of China. And of course, rest of Asia, actually, you've got fantastic coverage from our air network too. Now I'm stuck here. Anybody helping me here? Oh, there. Now this is the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge. Actually, will be completed later on this year. Actually, the same for the high-speed rail link. One item we are discussing right now is how to use the one location, but then having the immigration and custom clearance in the same location by both sides. No, it's not moving. Oh, there. Now over here, you can see this is the river mouth. And as of now, actually, there is only one little bridge over here. And it is restricting the flow of people and everything. But now, over time, there will be 4 bridges to be built. This is the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge I mentioned earlier, and then 2 others to be rolled out over the years. And over here, you can see the point over here is Greater Bay Area. We have 3 of the top 10 container ports. Adding together is about 60 million TEU for last year. Together with the rest of the Greater Bay Area, now I mentioned, we've got 10% of the total tonnage on the Ship Owners Association. And in terms of the financial side, actually for the past few years, we were, not last year, but for the past around 5 years, we were #1 in terms of IPO, even higher than London or New York here. Now, of course, it shows the financial backing for the whole chain of business. So you've got the throughput, you've got the owner, you've got the financing side, and of course, we believe that over time, actually, this will create an even bigger footprint on the Belt and Road. Now, that would actually lead us to the Belt and Road because any one city actually on Belt and Road is one small point, one small dot. However, with the Greater Bay Area, we are able to increase the footprint of the area onto the Belt and Road. Now over here, now I have to say, for the Belt and Road initiative, very often a lot of people got lost in it because first of all, it's so big. Now this in fact is more, I would say, a blueprint for decades, if not for the century. And it includes so many different countries. You can imagine if you're just talking on a contract, an agreement with 60-some companies, that would take you years already, not to mention this is talking about countries. Now, another myth is actually for a lot of people, they think it seems like it's all Chinese companies working on this. Now, I have to go back a little bit on the background because a lot of projects, actually, they started before the Belt and Road Initiative was announced. For example, the Port of Piraeus, COSCO has been investing in that way before the Belt and Road Initiative was announced. That's why they were on it all the time. And with the Belt and Road Initiative, actually it accelerated. And that's the reason why. And of course, over time, as you know, AIIB actually part of the remit, actually, they will be funding the Belt and Road Initiative too. So actually, it's got 60-some members, and all these member countries, actually, they would have a say in terms of what to invest and how. Now, for Hong Kong, actually, we've been trying very hard to participate in this because Belt and Road Initiative initially is infrastructure and, of course, a lot of project cargo shipments and also, for example, raw materials, iron ore and all that. And with the road is built, with the power plants are built, and, of course, energy. That would be the also coming together with it. Now, for our experience in terms of infrastructure projects, I mentioned about the high-speed rail link. Actually, for this kind of projects, it's very often more than tripartite. We've got so many different parties in it. For that, actually, we've got construction experts from, for example, Spain, Australia, mainland China, working in Hong Kong in one single project. So no matter it is project financing or legal side working with all these different parties, insurance and all, actually we've got a lot of experience in it. So all this actually, we are trying to establish this platform for infrastructure facilitation. That's why we have this office for the what we call IFO. It's mainly on the investment financing and facilitation office. It is a platform of stakeholders coming together to find the best platform, best way to do it, rather than a matchmaking. So there will be no commercial elements in it. It's very neutral. That is why we believe this will work very well. Now, of course, then over time, for example, the project of, going back to the projects of Piraeus, now actually it has jumped a lot in terms of its ranking and throughput. And actually it shows how the involvement of the company could actually help to export not only the management expertise, but also the business sense. So in that sense, now Piraeus actually I think is number 7th in the European ports. So actually it has helped it to grow its business a lot, and that's the purpose. For the Hong Kong side, we're also involving a lot in different aspects, especially, for example, in terms of the financing and also the advisory consulting side. That works not only for the maritime side, but also, for example, in the infrastructure construction. Now, we are a government department. What we do mainly is to help foreign companies and facilitate. I mentioned, of course, we are the Hong Kong government, but actually with the framework for the Greater Bay Area, we are trying to be able to help you to catapult your business, not only to Hong Kong, but also in the Greater Bay Areas and hopefully on the Belt and Road. Now I've got my New York colleagues over here. Douglas, actually, he's based here, and also Leo. Both of them, actually, their office is not far away from here. So I hope this can serve as a teaser, to give you some idea of what we can offer. And then, of course, we've got plenty of time for the rest of the day to discuss further. And I think the clock is up. Thank you.